Today officially marks 100 days of promises made and promises kept by President Trump. This has truly been the most historic start to a presidency in American history. The American people trust in President Trump. As President Trump has said before, the best is yet to come.
I think the reputation of the United States has gone down under your presidency.
No, I think it's gone way up, and I think we're a respected country again. We were laughed at all over the world. We had a president that couldn't walk up a flight of stairs, couldn't walk down a flight of stairs, couldn't walk across the stage without falling. We had a president that was grossly incompetent. You knew it, I knew it, and everybody knew it, but you guys didn't want to write it because you're fake news.
All right. Thank you.
And by the way, ABC is one of the worst. I have to be honest with you.
Thank you.
The fighting. Don't forget.
You think he wants peace? You think Vladimir Putin wants peace?
I think he does, yes. I think he does. I think because
even with the raining missiles
I think he really, his dream was to take over the whole country. I think because of me, he's not going to do that.
Do you trust him? Do you trust him?
I don't trust you. I don't trust a lot of people. I don't trust you. Look at you. You come in all shooting for bear. You're so happy to do the interview.
I am
And
happy.
then you start hitting me with fake questions. You start telling me that a guy whose hand is covered with a tattoo doesn't have the tattoo. You know.
All right.
I mean, you're being dishonest.
No, I'm not.
Let me
No,
just
I am
tell
not,
you,
sir.
do I trust? I don't trust a lot of people. But I do think this. I think that let's say he respects me. And I believe because of me, he's not going to take over the whole. But his decision, his choice would be to take over all of Ukraine.
Okay.
It's a war that never should have happened. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute
Well,
over that.
Wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not
Don't
have the
do that.
letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshop, Terry. You can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture. We'll
and you think it was Photoshop? Well,
Here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine,
No,
sir.
Terry,
I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS, as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't
Take a look
there,
at the
but
photograph.
they're there now, right?
No,
but
they're in
now.
your picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
he's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
We'll take a look.
You do such a disservice.
We'll take a look at that,
Why don't
sir.
you just say, yes, he does, and, go on to something else?
It's contested. One question about Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. There's a lot of turmoil at the Pentagon right now. There's the signal chat with his wife on it where he's discussing that attack in Yemen. There's another signal chat discussing the attack on Yemen. There's a reporter accidentally involved. You said the other day that you had a talk with the secretary. Did you take him to the woodshed?
I had a talk with him, and whatever I said, I probably wouldn't be inclined to tell you. But we had a good talk. He's a talented guy. He's young. He's smart, highly educated. And I think he's going to be a very good hopefully a great defense secretary, but he'll be a very good defense secretary.
You have 100% confidence in Pete
I don't have
Hegseth.
100% confidence in anything. Okay, anything. Do I have 100%? It's a stupid question. Look,
it's a pretty important position.
No. You don't have 100%. Only a liar would say I have 100% confidence. I don't have 100% confidence that we're going to finish this interview.
We will. A legal note: fraud is a crime. There have been no referrals to the Justice Department on any of
Well, you
these.
don't know that, do you? How do you know that?
Have there been referrals to the? Are there criminal referrals?
How would you know that there were no referrals? I think there were referrals.
They generally. All right. There's been no investigation from the Justice Department.
How do you know that?
I'm asking you, sir.
No, you're not asking me. You made a statement. You're not.
Now
asking
I'm asking you.
That was a statement that you made. There have
I'm
been.
asking you.
Have there been? Yes, there have.
So there have been referrals for fraud from the work of
Of course they have been. Take a look at some of these things that took place. Billions of dollars were given to people for no reason whatsoever. Of course they have been.
I want to bring up.
Tell you a psychological truth that you must know. Sigmund Freud said this. The more perfect a person is on the outside, the more demons they have on the inside. Beware of people who seem too virtuous, who seem too good. They might be hiding something. And on the flip side, just remember somebody who's rough around the edges. Someone who's always not the absolute nicest. They might be your most loyal friend in time of need.
No time to think of consequences. Show yourself. Take only what you need from it.
And one day soon, American astronauts will plant the flag on the planet Mars. That's going to happen very soon. Every single day. North Carolina, he did so great. What's the problem over there? What's the problem? Is that a radical left lunatic? He's just a child. All right, get him out. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, ma'am. I thought it was a guy. Thank you. And she now has to go home to her mother, who's a big Trump fan. Her mother's watching. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I said he, and it's a she. I'm sorry. To keep.
Jesus says, sometimes I put you in places alone because I need you to realize that you do not need anybody but me. Don't worry about your future. You have me and I will guide you. Trust me. I did not forget about you. My timing is just different from yours. Stay positive and trust that everything is working for your good. Have faith, even if you think you can't do it. You know that I can do all things. Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances. For this is my will for you in Christ Jesus. I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. And never forget that I love you, my child, and will always love you. Amen. Comment amen if you agree, and send this to the first person God puts on your mind. God bless.
God didn't ask you to figure it all out. He asked you to trust Him. Do you know why you're exhausted? Because you're trying to control what God has already handled for you. That's so easy for us to do, is we want to control everything and not let God be God, right? So this morning, as I was reading in my spiritual warfare prayers book, this one really struck a nerve with me again. They all do, because the title was Release Control and Trust God. That's so hard to do when we just want to try to fix things ourselves. We want to make things go a certain way. We want to get that job. We want to be in that relationship. We want things, to go the way we want them to go. But when we give it to God, because we can't control everything, and we just trust Him and let Him do what only God can do, that's what true trust in God is all about. So this morning I want you to just read this prayer with me, and I know it's going to resonate within your heart the way it did mine. The title is Release Control and Trust God. Dear Heavenly Father, I confess that so often I try to carry burdens that are too heavy for me. I hold on to control when I should be surrendering to you, trying to fix everything in my own strength. But today, I'm letting it go. I release my need to figure everything out, and I place my worries in your hands. I trust that you see the bigger picture, the parts of my life that feel confusing and uncertain to me. You are good, you are faithful, and you have a plan that is greater than anything I could ever imagine. When my mind races, quiet my thoughts and remind me of your presence. Help me to lean into your word and your truth. Replace my doubts with faith in your unfailing love. Show me that even when I can't see the outcome, you are working all things out for my good. Teach me to walk forward with confidence, knowing that you are holding me every step of the way. Give me the courage to trust you in the small things and the big things. Let my surrender be an act of worship, declaring that you are my God and my hope. Thank you for carrying the weight I was never meant to bear. In Jesus' name, amen. I lay it all at your feet today, God. I just lay it all at your feet. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding, but in all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. That is what we all need to do. God didn't ask us to figure it all out. He just asked us to trust Him. Are you trusting Him today? I bought this book from TikTok Shop a little over a week ago, and it has been life-changing for me every day. I'm reading 2 or 3 of these prayers, and if you feel led to do the same thing and need a prayer, sometimes we don't know what to pray and how to pray, this book is amazing. I have just this has been my lifeline. In the past, a little over a week, it's been rough, and it's really helped me get through just knowing what to pray, because sometimes our hearts don't know what to pray. So trust Him today and let God be in control of all things. Have a great day, friends.
Democrats say Republicans regret voting for Trump. I don't know what Republican y'all talking about, because I'm a Republican and I do not regret voting for Trump at all. If anything, I actually like what he's doing. I think he completed 95-96% of all of his campaign promises within the first 3 months. Signing executive orders left and right, trying to get illegal immigrants up out of the country. Interest rates are down, gas prices are down, oil prices are down. What are we not liking about him right now? Vietnam is trying to get their tariff from 90% down to 0%. A lot of countries are coming to the table trying to reduce their tariffs. South Korea, Japan's trying to figure out what they're going to do. Companies are moving back to America. You got Honda's trying to build factories in America. You got, even Apple is trying to invest in America. So I'm trying to figure out what is going on to where Democrats feel like Republicans are not supporting the country, the president. I'm supporting the president. I don't know what y'all think. What? Because he put a tariff on China, 25% tariff on China, 25% tariff on Canada, 25% tariff on Mexico, so that they can't send their products to Canada and Mexico and circumvent the tariff. Like what? Because they put a 34% tariff on us and we said we're going to put a 50% tariff on them. Okay. Other than that, I mean, like what? I'm rocking with him. They want to do a retaliatory tariff. He want to do a 50% tariff. Okay. Let's see how this going to go. You know what I mean? Like we are one of the biggest, consumer bases in the world. I think we're going to affect them. I think that's what's going to happen. No, I don't regret voting for my president. None of that rhetoric. Y'all Democrats are trying to sell people and brainwash people into thinking is real. You know what I'm saying? And when this president has really opened up my eyes to the Democratic Party. I kind of knew y'all was shady, but when he had Elon Musk the Department of Government Efficiency do the forensic audit of the Treasury Department, and I seen how much expenditures was going out to terrorist organizations, and y'all got money flying out the window for other countries to make comic books and condoms and all kind of crazy stuff. Oh no, I see exactly who y'all are. Elizabeth Warren, against Elon Musk auditing the Treasury Department. Like, what is going on? You know what I mean? I don't know. Last thing I would want is a Democrat to be in power, to be real with you. So don't think because I'm black, I'm just he's just a Democrat. No. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he's going to be pushing the country in a direction that many people always wanted to do. They wanted to bring manufacturing back to America. We're a service-based country. It is what it is. What do we produce? Think about it. You know what I mean? They need to slap 25% tariffs on steel, 25%.
I think he's rambling at this point. Good morning and good afternoon, and God bless you, Patriots. We had a rough night last night, didn't we? But we're here, and we're back, and through the grace of God's wisdom and some prayer and some kind words from you guys, I'm here and in a better spirit than before. There's all kinds of news overnight and this morning, so I thought it'd be fun to get an early start, kind of make up for last night and take a look at what's been going on in the news, which is what we're going to do. We're going to start this episode with a couple of my WTF videos that I can't help but start the show with.
Without further ado, it's my great pleasure to introduce my husband, the Prime Minister who will make Canada strong and Canada poor. Minister who will make Canada strong and Canada poor. Minister who will make Canada strong and Canada poor.
A little bit odd. Mark Carney's wife says her husband will be the one to make Canada poor. I don't know if that's a new slogan. Make Canada poor again. Probably just a bad slip up, but I don't know what to say about that. God, that coffee's good. Thank you for your card, by the way, Charlotte. I haven't seen Charlotte. So kind of weird. He'll make Canada poor. And my other WTF.
I wanted to talk, Marlon, a bit about just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a black man. Would you care to...
Did Michelle Obama just call herself a black man, or was that a total slip up? Was that a trick of words? Let's listen to it again.
Marlon, a bit about, just so proud of how you are being a role model for dealing with a child that's transgender.
Absolutely.
And that's, that warms my heart, particularly as a black man. Would you care to share?
I don't know what to say about that. I don't know if that's exactly news, but wanted to show you guys. You guys are already tuning out for you. Before we're even getting started, we got a good show here. So the judges are at it again, trying to rule overrule Trump on things. This time, something different.
California District Judge Jennifer Thurston demanded CBP agents cannot arrest suspected illegal migrants without a warrant or reason to believe the person is a flight risk before they can get one.
Did she just try and tell ICE they can't do their job and Border Patrol? I don't think that's going to go very far. Just throwing that out there. Now, yesterday, or in last night's video, there was a piece of something that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. had done and said that I was a bit critical of. And with a second look here after hearing this video, I kind of see how what he was saying is a bit... Robert Kennedy talks in an interesting way. He won't come out and just say stuff like... oh, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this. He'll sort of throw some statistics at you and some, I don't know. We'll just listen. How about that?
Hello, friends. This is Charlene Bollinger coming to you live from The Truth About Cancer. It's been a quick minute since I have come to you, and I just have some updates that I couldn't help but come through and bring to you live. If you are following us on X, you probably saw my post from the other day when everybody was up in arms over Bobby Kennedy posting something about the MMR shot. We're writing a Substack. I hope to bring it to you today, so stay tuned for that. But as I was working in my office a little while ago, Bobby was on. I have two TVs going on all the time to catch the latest breaking news. I've got Fox on one TV, Rav on the other, and sometimes I put it on OAN. So just staying up to date.
This up. I don't know if she plays what he says, but I have the video. Yeah. Let me just go to his video because I think he talks.
We'll get a mic over to Courtney for next. All right, Joe, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. My name is Joe, Mr. Secretary. Thank you for coming. Just want to let you know I regard you as a true American hero. So my question is, Marty McCary, your recently appointed director of the FDA, recently said that he was looking at removing the COVID-19 shot from the CDC vaccine schedule for infants. I believe he said that last week, and I'm interested in your opinion and if any other changes should be made in the CDC schedule.
I think that is that's something that we're talking about, and I think the justification for giving this shot to children is very, very weak, and particularly since there was the safety testing is utterly inadequate, and children are at almost a zero risk for COVID. And
that's regarding COVID. Do you guys think he should halt the vaccines for children until they do get studies on it? Probably, huh? But, basically what he was trying to say in the thing the other day was that hardly anybody's really died of measles. And so you kind of got to think for yourself. If you feel you want the vaccine, go get it. If not, it's just interesting how he talks. He's kind of got a different way of going about things than somebody like Trump would. Senator Adam Schiff has introduced federal legislation to implement a nationwide ban on assault weapons. I'm not too worried about this. He's been trying to do this for at least a dozen years, so it's not like anything new. And he's still at it, and I don't expect him to succeed this time either, but you never know. The Maida Vale power substation reportedly caught fire in London overnight, right after the blackouts from Spain, Portugal, and parts of France. If we take a quick look at that. Starting to look a little more intentional now, isn't it? Like maybe something's up. So it's just a couple angles of the fire. No word yet on the cause. And speaking of fires in Basili, Georgia, not our Georgia, but Russia, Georgia, there's a huge railway fire happening. Pretty large one. And moving forward, Merck announces a $1 billion biologics plant in Wilmington, Delaware. They plan to construct a new biologics manufacturing facility in Wilmington, marking its first U.S.-based site to produce the top-selling cancer drug, Keytruda, along with other biologic therapies, the company revealed. There's actually a lot of new companies that have just announced they're headed over here to the United States, some pretty big ones. We're going to take a look at those here in a little bit. First, let's listen to what Merck has to say.
Is beginning construction of a $1 billion, 470,000 square foot state-of-the-art biologics center in Wilmington, Delaware. We are talking about that this morning as we look at the stock up fractionally this morning at 83.30. Joining me now in this exclusive is the CEO of Merck, Robert Davis. Robert, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Well, thanks for having me, Maria. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, congratulations on this big announcement. We talk all
How do you guys feel about this? I guess I should ask, because they're not the first pharmaceutical company to announce moving over to the U.S. to do business. Is this the kind of business we want in the U.S.? Will you take it, or would you rather leave it? It's kind of my question to you. Here in Illinois, 4 were left dead after a vehicle drove through an after-school program building in Chatham, Illinois. The incident occurred around 3:20 p.m. when a vehicle crashed into the Why Not building located in 300 block of Breckenridge Road, which houses an after-school camp. The vehicle traveled through the building, exiting on the west side. Take a look.
We are following breaking news tonight in Sangamon County. Police say 4 people are dead and 6 others hurt after a driver crashed into a building.
It happened this afternoon at the Why Not outdoor summer and after school camp. The Chatham Baptist Church is the reunification point for families who have children there. So with that, let's go live to WCIA3's Cole Hankey. Cole, you just talked with police getting to the scene there. So what do you know?
Well, Amanda, this started here at this red-roofed building behind me. That is the Why Not building here in Chatham, and it is a very prominent after-school program for kids here in Chatham. Chatham police say at around 3:20 p.m. this afternoon, a driver went west on Breckenridge here, driving through the east side of the building. So from your perspective, the right side of the building, driving all the way through out the other end, killing 4 and injuring at least 6 more who have been taken to area hospitals. Police were not able to confirm any information about the victims in this case, including ages or whether or not why they were at the building to begin with. Now, I asked Chatham police about the suspect as well. Here's what they had to say.
I will call it the suspect. He is at the hospital with a police officer at this time, and I'm awaiting further updates as far as that status goes.
I hope it's not kids, but it was an after-school program, so doesn't sound good. People driving through buildings. We talked about this the other day after the deadly incident in Canada. It's seriously horrible. Moving forward, though, this issue's come up in other states before. The New York State Assembly has passed a bill to allow medically assisted suicide for people with terminal illnesses. Years back when I was in school, Oregon was one of the first states toying with this idea, but it went horribly wrong, I might add. The program was set up where, if you went through the motion, proved you were terminally ill, they sent you this shot kind of in the mail, had it delivered to your house. You used it, and then a few days later, somebody would come pick up your body. Except people were using the shot, and it wasn't killing them instantly like it was supposed to. And some of them found it to be very painful suffering that was probably worse than death. So I'm not so sure how I feel about that. It was one of the toughest topics I ever debated in college. trying to debate against assisted suicide, because people come up with all kinds of good reasons why it should be allowed, but I don't know. I tend not to agree with that. I leave these things in God's hands. The Department of Justice launches an inquiry into top medical journals over the pandemic bias, fraud, and corruption that we all experienced during that pandemic time period. So that's going to be a very interesting investigation. The Department of Justice letters target prominent members of biopharmaceutical complex over financial conflicts, wrongful retractions, and suppression of vaccine safety data. So that'll be a very nice investigation. If you live in North Carolina, your tax filing deadline has been extended to September 25th. Victims of Hurricane Helene and such. So good news for you guys, at least. Not that a lot of people are filing this year anyway, it sounds like. The FBI, under orders from Director Kash Patel, is now using polygraph tests on staff to track down the source of leaks to the media. It's a pretty interesting tactic, I gotta say.
U.S. intelligence agencies are aiming to weed out whistleblowers to plug leaks of sensitive information to the media, and using technology more than 100 years old to do it. FBI Director Kash Patel ordering the Bureau to begin polygraph tests to find anyone it believes is leaking information hurtful to its operations, as first reported by the Washington Post. The enhanced tactics have reportedly led to a culture of fear within national security agencies. In response to the Post report, a spokesperson says serious leaks led to the deployment of polygraph tests, but did not offer specifics on information shared. The move follows Attorney General Pam Bondi's legal directives advising the Department of Justice to subpoena journalists' personal communications. And
do you agree with this move? Would you be irritated if you worked in the FBI, if you were getting polygraphed? Of course, they say if you didn't do anything wrong, you've got nothing to worry about. So there is that. But they got to track down the source of the leaks one way or another. So I fully support that one. This one, however, Texas has gone absolutely mad. And because of this move, I really think Trump should remove Governor Abbott from his new FEMA review board. The Texas House has passed a bill that would criminalize political memes without disclaimers. Violators could face up to 1 year in prison. Okay, here we go. They're bringing the UK over to Texas, censorship city again.
You can spend as little as $100 in this state on a political sign. So if I went to the hardware store and bought, lumber and paint, and I put a sign in my yard that said, vote Abbott, right? And I spent $100 doing that, that would actually trigger a reporting requirement on my behalf. If I printed up some flyers in my own home, and then I went and distributed those to my neighbor, that could require certain disclosures and disclaimers and filings with the Ethics Commission. And so what happens is, if some person who doesn't like you, if you start to become effective and some person doesn't like you, they can file a complaint with the Texas Ethics Commission. The commission, if that complaint fits their form requirements, so even if the stuff in there is not true, if it's just the allegations fit the form requirements, they hold that they must open an investigation, and you must cooperate in that investigation. You have no Fifth Amendment right to protect yourself. You must answer the charges against you. You must travel.
When it starts violating the Constitution, I don't see how that's going to work. And if you live in Texas, you should be very upset about this, and you should probably be fighting it off with everything you've got inside of you, because damn, that is so wrong on so many levels. And I love Texas. I can't believe they would do something like that. I'm baffled by that one. Of course, then there's Governor Newsom, who again overrode the Democrats on sex trafficking again. Go figure. Again, intervening at the 11th hour, issuing a statement moments before publication of this edition, calling out Assembly Democrats for maneuvering this week to exclude older teenagers from an existing law that increases penalties on people who solicit minors for sex. So, I don't know. Not something I would want him involved in, I don't believe, but moving forward, Space Force is releasing a new documentary called America's Invisible Front Line, and I have a feeling it's going to be interesting. It comes out May 1st on YouTube, so you'll all be able to watch it. And I don't know, I'm pretty excited about it. I think we're going to see things in there we didn't expect and learn things we didn't expect to learn. Iran says the next nuclear talks with the United States set for Saturday in Rome. I found this a little odd too, and I had to do a couple checks on it because, I don't know, they were just in Rome last Saturday for the funeral and discussing such things, and now they're going to meet in Rome again to talk nuclear peace or
Iran
whatever.
and the United States are set to hold a fourth round of high-stakes nuclear talks in Rome on Saturday, aiming to resolve issues surrounding Iran's nuclear program. These discussions, mediated by Oman, mark the most significant dialogue in years between the longtime adversaries. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi confirmed the meeting, adding that Iranian officials will also engage with representatives from Britain, France, and Germany, key players in the...
I find it interesting that they're just meeting in Rome. It just seems odd to me. But maybe they've sort of taken over the area. And I wanted to read about this. There's something big happening behind the scenes, and it's too big to ignore. Let's break it down. This week, NASA, civilian space agency, confirmed it detected 3 massive explosions and 3 thermal nuclear hotspots deep underground at Iran's nuclear facilities. Not the Pentagon, not the mainstream media. NASA reported it. So why would they be the ones announcing a battlefield-level nuclear event? Simple. The explosions were so large they triggered Earth-monitoring satellites designed to detect surface temperature changes. It was impossible to hide, and using NASA makes it seem scientific instead of military, keeping tensions from boiling over immediately. It wasn't just a strike, it was a direct hit inside underground nuclear reactors. Wonder if Israel might be responsible for that. Oh, I know, it's not the most interesting story in the world, but it's pretty interesting, actually. I find it interesting, but, you know, I can't just sit around and watch cops all day. It's kind of interesting. The Michigan governor seems to not be so liberal anymore.
Well, I hadn't planned to speak, but I'm on behalf of all the military men and women who serve our country and serve so honorably on behalf of the state of Michigan. I am really damn happy we're here to celebrate this recapitalization at Selfridge. It's crucial for the Michigan economy. It's crucial for the men and women here, for our homeland security and our future. So thank you. I'm so grateful that this announcement was made today, and I appreciate all the work. Thank you.
She sure made a turnaround, huh? From trying to kidnap herself to hanging out with the president.
I'm in Macomb County with a big announcement. We just secured our brand new fighter mission at Selfridge Air National Guard Base. Well, let me break it down what that means. Selfridge is a key player in the United States.
She's even dressing like a conservative. It's crazy. I like this little video. It's not much to it, but...
Roughly around here, we start to work. And we work. We keep working all the way until we're 65 years old. So as you can see, that is most of your life. So it is very important to spend this time doing something that you love. Being a kid is nice. Retiring is nice. But what about the years in between? These should not be
Not so
just
nice.
a write-off and just waiting for Friday and just get through it and can't wait till retirement, because once those years are gone, they're gone. What I'm saying is, if you're working at a job that you hate just for a paycheck, then you need to make a change in your life.
It's exactly what we spend the majority of our lives doing, which is exactly what made us the slaves we are. Moving forward here. There's a little podcast get together with some of the Epstein victims the other day. I wanted to play a small clip from that.
Hi, I met Epstein. I met him with Bill Clinton in Africa 22 years ago. It was in September in 2002, just a year after 9/11. A woman called Naja Hill approached me, and, I was at a bar with a friend, and she said she was here with the King of America, and his best friend owned Victoria's Secret, and he was here with Bill Clinton, and he owned his own island in the Caribbean. He was also with Kevin Spacey and Chris Tucker. I'd never met any celebrities in my life, so I was, only 20 years old. I had been studying psychology, but I started modeling on the side to earn money because I didn't have money to get to university. So I was starstruck. I was taken to the restaurant and introduced to all of them. They all stood up while they were eating dinner and shook my hand. Bill Clinton held onto my hand for at least a minute. It was very, overwhelming for a young person. Anyway, the next day, I was invited to go to Clinton's speech, which was about AIDS. It didn't seem like it was about much. If you ask me, the hall was very basic. Kevin Spacey sat in front of me with a handheld device and filmed everyone in the hall, all the students included. After the speech, I was asked to come to the hotel with my modeling portfolio because they were holding a casting. It was all staged. There were 3 women posing as modeling agents from Karen Models. Their names were Sarah Killen, Andrea Metrovich, and Cindy Lopez. Bill Clinton walked through while they were doing the modeling casting, looking at my modeling book. It seemed like so legitimate. So yeah, I get a bit anxious. Anyway, so then I was told to go through and see Epstein. He looked at my modeling book and he said I'd be perfect for Victoria's Secret. Next thing is Leslie Groff from his office started phoning. They had me there within 2 weeks. Within 3 weeks. I arrived in America on the 17th of October. I didn't have any money at the time. To be honest, I had no money. But they told me that they would pay for everything and all the costs would be deducted from any work I did. No modeling work was ever arranged. I was never sent to see any modeling agency. Anyway, I arrived at the apartment. The car picked me up from the airport. The phone rang. Sarah Killen said, pack your things. We're going to the Caribbean. I was obviously
I think a lot of girls got caught up in the fake modeling stuff. That was Juliette Bryant, who we saw a video of the other day, claiming she's not suicidal after what happened to Virginia Guffrey. I'm going to try and find that whole speech of hers because there's supposed to be a lot of other victims on there. I wanted to show you this video from Trump's rally talking about the Golden Dome. It's so interesting how he talks about it that I feel like he's talking about something else.
I recently signed an order to begin construction of the Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland from missile attack. We're going to call it the Golden Dome. We had the Iron Dome, but somehow, Gretchen, Golden Dome sounds better to me. I don't know. Maybe it's not. What do you like better? Golden Dome or Iron Dome? What do you like better? Golden. Let's have a vote. Golden Dome. Oh, no, I think we're in trouble. Oh. Please. How about the Iron Dome? Good. Keep it. That's good. Because we made all the changes already. It'll be a little bit Even the renderings look very golden, look beautiful. No, it's going to be incredible. The latest and the greatest. A lot of it's going to be made in Michigan. A lot of it is going to be made the Golden Dome.
Even the renderings look golden. Seemed odd statement. They're made in Michigan. I don't know. So we saw in the intro the interview that Trump did with the reporter, and there's one part that I feel like he was kind of wrong about. I don't know if I'd say wrong, but I don't know. This whole thing's questionable, oddly.
And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute over that.
Wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
He had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me...
Okay, it literally does not say MS-13. That's the tattoo. Although some people say in other pictures it's not there. No, it's not just clear as day MS-13. I mean, you got a weed plant, a stone smiley face, a cross, and then a skull that people say equates to M for marijuana, S for stoned, 1 for a cross, and the skull is somehow a 3. I'm not exactly sure, but you know what? Doesn't actually matter now anyway, whether it's true or not, because this surfaced in a 2018 court filing. The ex-husband of Kilmar Abrego Garcia's wife expressed concerns for his children's safety because she was dating a gang member. So it's kind of getting worse for them. Yeah, it's on record. It really doesn't matter what kind of tattoos he has or not. And in Dayton, Ohio, they're about to get some more production from the Ford company.
From 2001 through 2007, the Dayton metro area lost almost 23,000 jobs.
Delphi is really scaling back their production here in the United States. A lot of that work is going to Mexico and China.
To put it another way, nearly 1 in 3 local jobs in manufacturing vanished during that time. And things only got worse from there.
Today we're announcing our plan to, over time, cease production at 4 GM truck assembly plants.
These gas prices, they're not going down.
In 2008, GM closed its massive Dayton operation, citing rising gas prices and plunging sales.
It sounds like tough times in Dayton, Ohio.
GM will close the plant for good later this year, 2 days before Christmas.
It was one of the last big auto plants in a town that once had more auto industry jobs than anywhere but Detroit.
We produced quite a few GM brands. GMC Envoy, the Isuzu Ascender, Saab, Buick, Oldsmobile.
Mexico basically is a shift in strategy.
Rodney Brickey was one of more than 2,000 GM workers laid off that day. He'd put in 14 years, starting back when his father worked there.
The insurance was pretty much unbeatable, and the wages were pretty high. I'd say it probably averaged out around $35 an hour. When the plant closed here, economically it was devastating for this area, because when you're making that kind of money and something like this closes, it's next to impossible to find something that's compatible.
And the story's the same for so many small towns all over the Midwest, all over the country. And as those things happen, I mean, a lot of those jobs, production got so low that they started going through temp companies to hire people at minimum wage for the same jobs people used to be getting paid $20, $30 an hour for. That's what happened to your factories, and then finally they were gone, and with them went the middle class. And now there are the haves and the have-nots. Donald Trump is working hard to change that, and there's some good new places coming to America. Let's start with the largest chip manufacturer in the world coming to Arizona. TSMC investing $165 billion with 1,100 acres of land in Arizona. It'll bring 4,000 new high-paying jobs to Arizona. 40,000 Americans will be involved with building the plants, and 20,000 will be employed to manage. This move will allow America to represent 40% of the entire chip market, making the United States a powerhouse. Let's take a look.
Our Secretary of Commerce spent the weekend. He went down to Arizona to see what was happening with the biggest chip company in the world. And he said, Howard, you've never seen anything like it. You want to just describe what you saw?
So they're investing $165 billion in 1,100 acres in Arizona, and they're building the highest tech chip manufacturing, semiconductors, and 4,000 employees. American tradecraft, right? Technicians doing every kind of work. The classic foundation of America is building it. They have 14,000 people. They're expecting 40,000 people to build the rest of their plants and to employ 20,000 people for the rest of the time. This is all driven.
You never saw a site like that.
And this is all driven by your tariff policies. No chance this be happening without you.
It's going to be about 40% of the chip market from that one section. And this is the biggest chip maker. They have 99% of the market. They come from Taiwan. And unlike the CHIP Act, which was done by Biden, where they hand everybody billions of dollars, the thing they don't need is money. They got plenty of money.
I have a feeling this is going to make China pissed for some reason. And especially since they're not the only ones coming to America, guess who else is coming but Samsung?
Coming in at numbers. For instance, I just walked in, I heard Samsung is now, because of the tariffs, they're going to build massive facilities in the United States. If we didn't do the tariffs, they wouldn't be doing that. So it takes a little while to get those facilities built, but they're coming in with big numbers. They're all coming in with big numbers. We have more money being spent than at any time in the history of our country. We're up to close to $8 trillion, I think I can say. And really, it's going to be a lot higher than that. Those are just the ones that we know about. 8 trillion.
8 trillion. So Samsung, and then the world's largest chip maker. Trump's been talking more about his 3 terms.
But we've ended the radical left. Well, we actually already served 3, but if you count. But remember, I like the victories. I like the 3 victories, which we absolutely had. I just don't like the results of the middle term, the results. I don't want those results, John. I don't want those results. What results? What a disgrace. If we would have had this group for...
Donald Trump had his rally yesterday, and he said this.
But we've ended the radical left. Well, we actually already served 3, but if you count. But remember, we actually already served 3.
And so you guys already knew that.
He served 3 already. 45-47.
But that brings up so many questions, doesn't it? If Trump was really in charge to some great extent during the time Biden was in, doesn't that bring up so many unanswered questions? One more thing real quick.
I stripped the security clearances of the disgraced intelligence agents who lied about Hunter Biden's laptop from hell. Remember the laptop from hell? Remember the laptop from hell? When you had the 51 agents, they said, oh, Russia did it. Russia did it. Russia did everything. Russia did it. And it was all like horrible, disgusting stuff. You hadn't seen the worst of it, but it truly is the laptop. By the way, a very brilliant reporter for the New York Post wrote a book called The Laptop from Hell. You ought to read that book. It is really, it tells you the facts, okay? It tells you the facts.
Seems like there's a big connection with some of these laptops, the servers, the Five Eyes, Anthony Weiner's laptop, Epstein, Clinton Foundation, the Biden laptop, Huma Abedin and the Muslim Brotherhood. Gonna be a lot of interesting information from that one itty bitty little laptop, huh? All right, guys. So that concludes our news, but I've got a couple things here. One of them I'll probably save for tonight. I found a full uncut William Cooper interview, a full 2-hour interview. That's going to be amazing. But what's more important right now is this new documentary out around all the twisted stuff that happened after Hurricane Helene. So I'm going to put it on right now and hope that we can watch it without copyright issues.
On September 27th, Hurricane Helene tore through the East Coast, leaving devastation in its wake. But while the world moved on, the people here were left behind. Homes were destroyed, families displaced, and entire communities shattered. Yet the response was silence.
I'm here to tell every single survivor in these impacted areas that we will be there with you as long as it takes. Urge everyone returning to their communities and home to listen to the local officials and follow all safety instructions.
The government's promise of aid never came, and those who suffered the most were forced to rebuild with nothing. This is their story. The story of the storm that hit, the help that never came, and the voices that refused to be ignored.
It's a race against time for many people in western North Carolina. Some are running out of food and water.
You've seen buildings that have collapsed, roads buckled, cars stuck in thick mud.
We're getting a closer look at the damage left behind from Hurricane Helene in some of these western North Carolina mountain towns. Right now we're in Swannanoa, and I want to show you some of the power behind these floodwaters, completely washing out windows, parts of this building.
Do a better job than has been done by the White House. It's been not good. Not good.
Her 750, him set. All these people around me ought to be getting a lot more than $750.
We've got to change the culture of FEMA. There's too much government bureaucracy and not nearly enough caring about the folks that they should be tasked to help.
Actually, we went out with the county as early as last week to look at the tents, to visit the people who have been identified in tents, and we're not seeing that those individuals do not have access to FEMA assistance or the county assistance.
September the 27th, and here it is November the 4th, and we still not received no help from no FEMA.
I was referring specifically to the individuals in the tents.
That's what I'm referring to. They're still out there.
Okay. If you know of them, please let me know, because I can't tell you.
Just open your eyes.
Okay. No, absolutely. And
Say that again. How many people do you think are estimated?
Say 2,000 or 3,000.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. We don't know.
Say they hope officials can improve their response and take down the red tape as they continue to help the area through the...
From Michigan, and we had no clue about what had been going on in western North Carolina. Eric called us and talked about how many people were dying and the fact that they were lying about it. The news wasn't covering it right, and he was trying to expose it on his podcast, and it just didn't. Nobody was really listening. Eric was out there for like 2 weeks, probably, maybe 2 to 3, and he had been working with rescue and recovery teams. Everything that he said, I thought he was being a little exaggerated, as he can tend to be, but if anything, he was under exaggerating because you can't really explain it. James and I looked at the stuff that he was sending us, and we were like, okay, let's go out there. And we basically decided that we're just gonna go and film it. We're gonna raise money, and all of the money that's raised is only gonna be used on the people in western North Carolina. So we raised money and went and gave it all away. We ended up going to like this washed out area over a bridge, and right past that bridge were a bunch of torn down homes, but there were still a couple standing up there, and we just decided to walk up to their houses and start asking like, hey, can you tell us your story on camera, and can we help you? And that's where we met Emily, who is a mom who was pregnant. She was 8 months pregnant when the storm hit. And she was left stranded in her home, floating on a bed and freezing water for 12 hours. It was the beginning of us realizing the lies and the lack of coverage about what was really going on.
I mean, I just know that there's need down here. Like I said, I don't know what we're getting into. I don't know what we're walking into. I don't know what to believe. I only believe the people that are down there and are seeing it. I don't believe the media because they're not talking about any of this stuff. Nothing. I don't know anything. So we'll find out. No.
Sounded like it was getting kicked in, and it was almost like a scary movie. Just seeing it, water coming up the vents, and it's just like within 2 minutes it was neck deep inside the house. And I've just never seen something happen that fast and happen like that. And the bed started floating, so me and the dog kind of tried to get on top of the bed and float on the, I mean, that's all we could do, because I was debating, do you jump out the window so you don't drown in your own house? But you look out and the water's, 10, 12 foot deep all around me in the back. And then in the front is where the currents are coming in, so it's too strong. So you just literally couldn't get out. Luckily, there was a few guys that could make it somewhat up the road, and they helped walk up to me and help get me out. I guess it was like this deep, chest deep, for probably 3 or 4 hours. So I tried to open the window in my daughter's room. But with me being pregnant and you're watching cars and trailers and buildings like float past, literally, I mean, that just wasn't an option. I tried to keep bringing a couch cushion to kind of hold in front of my stuff so nothing like would hit me. Because there was big logs and 2x4s coming in the front door, coming in the kitchen door. I mean, it was crazy. And then even when I got out, doctor's offices, my OBGYN, of course, none of that's open. And so it was hard to get seen. It took 3.5 weeks to get an ultrasound.
3.5 weeks?
To get an ultrasound of the baby.
After you were cold and freezing?
Some of us were like in Katrina. And then when the 2016 flood came, a bunch of guys with boats went out and just called ourselves the Cajun Navy 2016. And we're a rescue group. We do high water rescue. We started off high water rescue, and now we do it all. We go before the storm, after the storm, during the storm. We do like food at the beginning, then we do supplies in the middle, and then we do rebuild at the end. People had no warning. By the time they got the warning, it was too late. And the water just, for these creeks to be 20 feet wide and end up half a mile on each side of the creek, it was devastating. Raging water coming down 50 to 75 miles an hour, taking out everything in its path. I got here and I seen, I went to Asheville and I seen the Shenandoah River, and it was way out our league. We wouldn't even attempt to put our boats in there. That was nothing but a helicopter rescue. We're swift water trained, but we would not get in that because it would drown us. No matter how good of a swimmer you are, it's not capable of swimming in, because you have so much debris, you have so many houses, trailers, trucks, everything coming down the creeks, and it's taking out everything in its path. But at the start, all I seen was personal. People coming out in their own helicopters and using their own fuel and in their own time. It's just such a amazing to see disasters that so many people come together as one. When I get in a parking lot and I say pray, it's all different nationalities, different colors, I do not see no racism doing a disaster. That's what we need to be all the time. Why does it take a disaster? Why can't we be like this all the time? After this disaster's over, you won't see none of this until another disaster. And I know God gets upset, but we need to be together. We need to come together as one to save our country. I mean, our country's going downhill, and only the people can save it.
We left there, and Eric ends up taking us, like, I felt like it was a wild goose chase. And we had a binder made up. We had like an itinerary. I mean, we're a camera crew, we're a filming crew, we're a production company. We know what we're doing. I mean, I'm a contractor. I do things by the book. I have rules. And I'm following Eric through the mountains, and I'm calling him like, dude, where are you going? He's like, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going. He's basically, if you talk to Eric, Eric's following God. Eric's going wherever Eric wants to go or wherever the Spirit leads him. And I'm behind him freaking out. That brings us to Swannanoa Independent Missionary Baptist Church parking lot. The first person I walk up to is this guy, we'll call him Jeff, smoking a cigarette. He had this pissed off look in his face. Stopped me and I introduced myself and I said, hey, we're here, we're making a documentary. And he didn't look like he was interested. This guy jumped in his pickup truck, brought everything he had the moment the storm hit and was giving everything. I mean, not just something, everything. He left his whole life. Even to the point where I think that Jeff was ready to lose his life. When I met Earl and I met the other people there, they were giving away clothes. They were giving everything that they could. And they had been in this weeks upon weeks. I think they were over a month into it. They were trying to take care of people, and that's what we walked into. And I quickly realized that it didn't matter where we go. It didn't matter where we went. Wherever we were needed.
It's like a war zone, and I don't talk about it a lot. It's like Vietnam in a way, in places. It's like the government was putting on a show that they didn't really care for the people.
One man, he had to hold his invalid data for 7.5 hours in chest-deep water, to keep him afloat till they were rescued out of their home. So, there are people that come in here with stories that break, it'll break your heart.
People has come with a good heart. It's brought the good Americans together.
Yeah.
And there's good Americans out here. Don't get me wrong, they are. I don't care where you're from. There's good Americans still left in this country.
Yes. I drove every day when I was trying to come to this man's house, and come for 4 days. I didn't realize till the divers started actually coming up to the river, and they found a woman in a van with 4 children.
With 4 children, right down here on this highway.
I was driving by them every day.
But you won't hear that on the news, and we ask why. Why don't they? People has a right to know. Even the people here.
Deserve.
Why don't they tell everything? Oh well, if we told that, said people would get paranoid because they found a woman and 4 kids underneath a bridge dead.
And I mean, they were just right there. Right across from Ingalls Warehouse, that bridge right there. That's where they were.
Two of our officials flew over this and flew over all that in their helicopters. And there was one official that running for our president. I'm not running for our president. Is the only one that landed and got out and got his feet muddy down here at Swannanoa to look at the devastation.
What do the states in the storm zone need, Mr. President?
Sorry?
What do the states in the storm zone, what do they need after what you saw today?
Oh, in the storm zone?
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm they're talking about. They're getting everything they need. And they're very happy across the board.
So Hurricane Helene was one of the worst natural disasters in American history. It was far worse than it was even billed. I have never seen such water damage. It was largely water damage, wind damage, but water damage nobody's ever seen.
And I haven't even took time to go over there and do anything to my place because my place don't matter. There's a need here. There's a need around the community, and I'm going to continue doing it because I'm doing God's work. That's all I want to do.
You've got to pull together to make this country succeed And to make things succeed in this country, it takes us all. It don't take just a few, it takes us all.
So far, that's what our community has done, and all these hardworking people that's took time out of their lives to come help us. They put their boots on the ground. They didn't talk about things. They actually did something.
What's your emergency?
Okay, I'm in the middle of the flood. It's coming. It's up to my trailer, and please send somebody to come get me.
Honey, where are you at? We have got multiple people from multiple counties everywhere. I promise they're in the way.
Yeah, because oh my God.
I'm sorry. We're trying our best, baby, okay? 911, where's your emergency?
Our house, there's houses like split in half. There's people hollering.
Okay, is this a house or is it a trailer?
It's a trailer. Like everybody's trailer is floating away, and cars, and everybody's hollering. We've got a little girl and a woman trapped in a trailer and up here in Denton, and the trailer behind them just broke loose. And we're trying to get to them, but the water's so swift. If it hits our trailer, they're gone.
Okay, give me that. Honey, I've got them up in there. We're trying. What is the address of that, where you're at?
I don't even know. And it's literally a trailer just broke off behind it. If it hits theirs, they're gone.
Okay, we're trying, honey. They're trying to get up there. It's just, it's a mess. We're trying.
We're trying to get over to them.
You be careful, okay? Yeah, don't put yourself in jeopardy, okay?
But we can't let them drown.
This is the final day of the doc edit, and I just wanted to provide some context for this scene that's happening right now. In Swannanoa, we went to an area that had been washed out, a farm. We were just looking around, seeing if we could get some footage of the river, the creek that was running through there, just somewhere that Eric had taken us, and Eric started smelling something.
Yeah, it's all deposit. I bet you there's bodies under sand.
And I didn't film the whole thing. I set my camera down on a bag, and I just kind of pressed record, but I ended up turning it off.
Water.
God, there's a kid's shoe.
Yeah, there's a body.
What's left of it, probably. People that don't understand what happened out there don't care. But there are people that have said they witnessed whole families dying. Some people that had 12 people in the home. And there are hundreds of these people, if not thousands. Where are the bodies? Where are the body bags? The bodies were shredded in a meat grinder. When that water came down the mountain, there's nothing left of a body. And a lot of times when they were trying to rescue people, they weren't actually rescuing people. They were recovering pieces. And that's what we came upon in the field, are pieces of people, which we were sure some of it was a child. I was over on the other end of that field, rummaging through a house that had diapers and toys and babies' toys and a nursery. And when I walked to the other side of the field, I saw the same diapers, the same toys, and I'm assuming it was the same child. So when you watch this video and you're asking yourself, did this really happen? I'm telling you, it really happened. And if you're asking where are the bodies, they're buried under 20 feet of sand and rubble.
There's something right there. What you got? Something's up for sure. Yeah. Mitch. Oh, well, yeah, you just don't care. I just got a huge.
Yeah, it's right here.
All right. Yep.
So you want to keep
it's
going?
100%. It's 100% body. Keep going.
I mean, yeah, if it's a baby, we could just be repeatedly missing it.
Right?
It's so tiny.
Do a grid search on it.
Immediately after this scene, Eric calls a number he had stored in his phone to report dead bodies. And when we get the lady on the phone, she says, "We're not taking any more phone calls. We're not looking for them anymore." That was disturbing. Then we head over to where the sheriff is, where the car's caught in the creek. And when Elijah, Mitch, and Victoria walked away, Eric, Jeff, and I heard the sheriff say, "Guys, can you please just stop? We can't get the car out. We've already tried. And there's pieces of bodies down there, lots of them, and we don't want to stir them up." And he just begged us to stop. Then you're going to see Eric tell him where we found our body. And the guy was nice enough to actually send people over there where more bodies were recovered.
So there's like a broken tractor out there. If you go to the peak of the woods where that draw comes to a point, you'll see all our water bottles sitting in the hole. And you'll smell it as soon as you walk up on it. I'll let them know. It's really gross.
That stuck with us. That stuck with us. And I still think about it. Okay.
We are just starting the smoker up so we can cook ourselves some brats and steaks and baked beans and hot dogs and potatoes, chocolate cake for some reason because Eric wanted chocolate cake. Figured I just took us up a snack real quick, you know. Jim's a little hangry, we're all a little hangry. Bang. Wieners, brats. Dude, that pan is gonna be perfect to sear those steaks out though.
I got no excuse not to help people who need it. So I can't just chill at my place where life is good and while this is going on, can't have any peace. I'll never sleep. You know, requests for help trickle in. They let me know if it could be cutting up trees out of somebody's driveway so they could get in and out of their house. I replaced a water heater at some place and found out that day that I can replace a water heater. But pulling vehicles in the river, that's a nightmare. And I'm just in the zone working. I shouldn't have noticed this tricep. Like, it was buried up to the handlebars. I shouldn't have even noticed. I was just in the zone working. But for whatever reason, I noticed. I don't know. I felt like, I know it sounds crazy, I felt like it called out to me. Like it found me. It took two of us to pull it out of the dirt. And, you know, you get an image in your head. Where's the 3-year-old that was riding that? And how many people are still under me right now?
We went over to this bridge where there was a little camp across from a neighborhood that had been destroyed, absolutely obliterated in Swannanoa. And the camp was full of the survivors from that little neighborhood. And we spoke with one of the workers who was there cleaning up debris. He talked about this guy who had completely lost his mind across the street. We were asking for interviews of people that he might know, and this guy had just lost so much that he was completely disconnected. It was, not only was there physical destruction, but there was spiritual warfare going on, and this was evidence of that. We also talked with people in downtown Asheville, and it was almost as if, sure, they didn't have power, running water for a couple of days, but then you look at this guy who lost his brother, his sanity, arguably parts of his soul, and I just can't help but wonder why people right next to all of this devastation seem to have almost no clue what's going on.
Can I put this on your jacket?
Sure.
All right, so is your family here?
Is my family here? Nah, they ain't here right now. I got my brother, he came with me. But down here it flooded like a motherfucker, and it shows in parts. Down through here, wallow and different shit, but you look in certain places, you can see where spirits have been taken.
Pretty heavy to be here?
Heavy. It's pretty fucked up. They're dealing with a lot of loss.
Did you lose friends and family?
I lost a good friend of mine, my brother down here. Yeah, I ain't taking no more questions.
Okay, that's fine. So you don't have to. Can I get the microphone back?
Nah, I'm taking that.
Joining us right now on the phone is Esther Mannheimer. She is the mayor of Asheville, North Carolina.
And I will say that the pictures don't fully capture the catastrophic damage that we've experienced here in Asheville. It's unprecedented. It's exceeded any historic storm on record.
Word about time to come out. What you say to Satan, for I dash you down. He's a stone with wood in the early morning. So long, say, feeling bye-bye land. I got to be the lion, falling asleep, feeling so near. I listen to the way I learn. Wolf don't howl at no fool moon.
I remember waking up the next day and it was like really calm Friday morning, and then things kind of went to shit Friday afternoon. But that like period of calm felt eerie. And when I finally went back to my place, thankfully we had electric. I was really consumed with worry that the big tree in our backyard would have fallen upon the house. As I'm rolling up, I had like a lot of panic about that.
So anyway, we stayed for a few days, but without water, without power. We left and went to Florida to see my brother. And then, sure enough, Hurricane Milton came. My daughter she was in a forest. A tornado virtually came in and wiped out 1,000 trees. There were probably less than 100 left.
Yeah, I think it was just really an intense few days. I remember in my body feeling like intense survival mode, not knowing where the next food or water would come from. I think I had maybe like 200 calories and, went without a crucial medication for a couple of weeks. That was really, really hard, and eventually found access to that.
It's been a tough time, and we have some trailers down in Marshall, and one of them has been just demolished by the flood. So, I've been volunteering at various places, just trying to do my part, and gosh, it's just such a shame.
Yeah, I'm just really glad that it wasn't worse for me and the people that I love, and it's been devastating.
I think we need investment back to the artists.
Our experiences with FEMA have been very positive. They've been and with the state. I think people are really trying to bend over backwards to help. I think it's been wonderful the way, like I volunteered on Monday, I guess it was Monday in Marshall, and just the banding together of people, it was just wonderful. So to the extent that people get together and help each other, I think that's great.
I think the artists here are the most heavily impacted, and it's just now slowly reopening. And I think reinvesting in the infrastructure that allows artists to thrive, and putting money back in the hands of people that don't make as much in this city, and stop giving as much space to people who are already well off.
I've been trying to help the community, and then the community's really been coming together. Yeah. And helping each other, and people from all over the state, other states are coming and helping each other. I've never seen anything like it. It wasn't like that in Baton Rouge. This is amazing. community's coming together here, how awesome it is.
Do you guys know how many people have died? Like, is that a number, like, are there numbers floating around?
It's like thousands.
Thousands.
They're only saying hundreds. There's definitely over 1,000. I know that for facts. I mean, nobody knew until Trump brought his helicopter here and like landed it that we actually had a flood. And then there was something on the news, I think. Like, there wasn't much about it. I feel like downtown should be opening up their stores with each artist that lost something down in our district. They should be putting a booth up in front of every single store, supporting all those artists that are down there. Asheville, to me, is like nothing's happening. It's just like normal right here in downtown. I drove through it earlier. I'm like, just a day in Asheville. Like, why aren't I guess the artists lost some stuff, but why aren't they out there with samples or pictures of what they had, be asking for donations? All these artists, are the artists actually local, a lot of them, or are they just people from other cities and states putting their stuff in our city, claiming they're part of the arts district? So my question is, where are all the artists? I know one personally lives here, Tarsane. She was affected by this, and the marquee is totally gone pretty much. Like, the umbrella is more affected, but that is a huge warehouse with art. Where are the artists? I think good is people are getting closer to the Lord. People are going to church. I started going to Swandown First Baptist. Those people are awesome. Oklahoma Disaster Relief, North Carolina Disaster Relief, Cajun Navy. They're doing Cabins for Christ. I've met people all over. Just being here, I have networked and met so many people. Like, I was alone in my farm and didn't really get out and do much, and now I'm like, I had a ton of friends. So that's one thing, is like, I've just kind of like met people, because you don't want to be alone in a situation like this. You'll be depressed and crying, and the suicide rate may go up. Like, but they're like, people are giving and loving on each other, and it's just amazing. Just you felt it, didn't you?
Footprints in the sand don't lead you nowhere, but halo over high water. Suddenly chasing the tongue, shooting down the wire. Out of wire, still got a place for me.
Good boy!
He's like, I kind of want to taste that
Earl, keep up! Earl!
Just a quick one.
Okay,
The duck is fighting for its life, dude.
Well, he was letting us know that the duck was under
Good
there.
job, Earl! You saved the duck! Nobody's come back here and checked on us.
Still.
No, I'm serious. Like, no, I felt, it was kind of a panicky feeling. Like, I thought like we were going to be rescued, or someone was going to come down here and check, because I know they were checking on the areas, but we did see drones flying over and copters flying over, but no one landed. It was weird. Like, people were flying over, checking out the scene, but no one was landing. And I was thinking they would drop supplies down for us to eat, drink, all that. Because people, not everyone is like us, so we can walk a mile to get out.
Right.
Here's FEMA's number, good luck and Godspeed. So I called FEMA up, and they're like, who's this person? They've already got the benefits. They registered under your household. And I'm like, excuse me? The person was here like 48 hours, and you would give them money without even checking their ID? So FEMA gave him $750 or something, and said, then I tried to get him to flag it. Then they told me, you can't get it. You have to put an appeal in. Then you got to show us proof of your residency. And so I sat in line for 5 hours one day, and then another 3 hours. They still haven't helped. And they said they came over here. I sat here for a week. They said they came by, but no one was there. And I said, well, maybe Google to come to the wrong house. They said they called, never left a message. So I don't even think they even came.
Right.
So I haven't heard from FEMA.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, FEMA who? And then I started looking when I got out on the YouTube and on the news. It was like, oh, there's 40 deaths. I'm like, excuse me? There was like 12 people in 2 families that I know of that they lost the entire family.
Right.
That's just like 2 families. And then I'm like, that's not right. And so then they weren't saying the numbers. Like, we all knew there was like thousands of people And maybe it's because they didn't come rescue them, they couldn't count them because they couldn't identify them. I feel like I'm going to be hanging out with Swananoa First Baptist and, being there, because that's what I started doing the last couple of weeks. I've just been there on Sunday, listening. It's like a support group. It really is. Everybody's supporting each other and listening and crying and helping. And it's like I have a new family now. Like in some way, this has brought me closer to the community. Whereas before I felt like I was just back here. Like I even had a couple neighbors help me through my cancer journey, helping me with these animals. I hadn't even met my neighbors, and I didn't meet them until this.
We all had come together to speak with this woman who had lost her farm, but we all left with a new friend. When we got together and we had food with her and we broke bread, we found out that Stacy was a believer in Jesus Christ, and it was refreshing for me just to see so many people out there that were actually crying out to God, and Stacy was one of them. We hadn't eaten much. It had been just nonstop since we arrived there. It had been full-blown sadness, and this moment on the trip was probably my highest point. And meeting Stacy was phenomenal, and her heart and her spirit, being a cancer survivor and everything that she's gone through, was just a blessing to us. And I was just thankful that we were able to do anything for her. And so I know that Eric went back, and after this trip, after the documentary, and they had connected and they were able to bring in tents and solar panels, and Elon Musk donated Starlink. Eric really coordinated a lot of this, and Stacy was a huge asset in having a base camp and an area to do some of this stuff. And I think that when Stacy actually talks about people coming together and the power of unity, of helping one another, I think that this part of the documentary brings it all together to show the spirit of God that was actually in North Carolina, and so many people were working together to save one another.
The next morning after Stacy's, I was just drained. We had to go out to Banner Elk to interview people at a fire department, and I was exhausted, mentally just defeated. All of the things that we saw, and I guess while everybody else was, helping and doing things with people, I was really stuck capturing a lot of it. And I think everything kind of started to hit me right after Stacy's. And going to the Banner Elk Fire Department was exactly what I needed. I needed to listen to stories of perseverance and strength and community. And if there's any community that would exemplify that or be an example of that, it's Banner Elk.
My name is Tyler Burr, and I've been a firefighter for 16, almost 17 years. I am the chief of the fire department. I've been chief here for almost 6 years, so this was just a need and a calling that I stepped up to. I took it on as a young officer and still learning as I go. But yeah, been here a minute.
My grandpa was a fire chief, and one of my uncles was. And I didn't really have any interest in doing fire necessarily, but when I got here, I kind of always looked at this building and I was like, that would be kind of really fun to do, but I'm really scared to go in there. I don't want to do it. And then when I met Peter, he was like, I'm on the fire department. And I was like, oh, okay, this is the end. I can get in now. And so I got him to bring me over here, and that was it. And I've been here ever since, so.
So we were here Wednesday night, was the first night. Bunch of rain. I thought that was the main story, I'm not gonna lie. And then they were like, nope, that's just the beginning. I was like, okay.
I had just gotten off concussion protocol, so I was right like a couple days ago, so I was right in the middle of practice, and then we had gotten done with that, and then kind of saw that it was getting ready to come in, and we were just kind of like, wow, like this is probably going to be a bad one, but again, nobody expected it to be this bad.
Normally we have, a dispatch center and things like that, and not that we didn't.
But there were so many different operations that every department was doing that our dispatch center couldn't handle it. So I was essentially our dispatcher for our fire department.
And we were kind of stuck here because all the roads were kind of like, this was kind of like a island in a big lake. So we couldn't really go anywhere for a while, and we had to just kind of station in place.
Yeah, I think that realization kind of started to come the night before when we were like, all of our main roads were starting to be under like feet of water, and we were like, okay, this is kind of worse than we thought it was going to be. Wake up the next morning, town's dead, no power, no water.
Obviously, during the storm, we were on the go. I think there was about like 10, 15 of us sleeping on the floor in the gym. Most of us are outdoor rec. So, we had our little sleeping pads, which was great.
We were in a situation beyond anything we've ever seen. Local means, local resources. From that point, it's sort of when you don't have enough help, you ask for it, and then help shows up. It became apparent very quick that help wasn't coming.
I think when I woke up and saw this whole road gone, and the park behind us, which was like super nice and green, was just water, and it was like a lake. I was kind of just realizing like, oh, we're gonna have to, like, if we need boats, we're gonna have to find them ourselves, and we're gonna have to get things ourselves, and I hope we have enough water here.
I don't even really think that we slept the first few days. It was kind of just go, 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 living off of crackers and candy and just whatever. By that point, your body was just in a fight response. We were putting it together operationally and efficiently as we could, but as far as everyone's individual capacity, it was just 110%.
Like, the best way to describe the fire department is brother and sisterhood. And it's basically what you were, just living with your brothers and sisters here and having a ball.
We had a lady down the road a little ways here who got washed away in her home, jumped out of her home in the river, went another mile or so down the river, and then managed to get out, come back up, find her family on that side of the river. But her and 3 of her family members were stuck over there. It was just picking up tractors and cars and grills, just pulling everything down the river.
But in addition to being pregnant, a big part is that I couldn't go out in the field. I'm a helper, always have been. And so when this whole storm hit, when I couldn't be here in the first couple days because I had other things that I had to take care of, that was really difficult for me to kind of sit back and listen to, because I had my radio. So I was listening to everything that was going on, and just knowing that like I couldn't be there and help in the capacity that I wanted to help in, that was really difficult.
I feel like a lot of the people need to know and understand that this town is like very mentally shaken as well, because this is an event that doesn't happen very often up here. So just making sure to keep everybody in their hopes and prayers, because it's just a process that everybody has to kind of get through, and it's just like a grieving process. Everybody's just different. So our town just needs some help and prayers.
All these gravel roads and stuff that you see, that was not made by the government. That was made by local construction companies who almost, maybe 2 days later?
Yeah, I was seeing them 2 days.
Yeah, 1 to 2 days later, they were out with their excavators, just putting the road back together.
It's become a lot more humbling, gratifying to lift my own rescuers up and watch them do this larger than life tasks and events. Those are the highlights of my career, and this hurricane event really demonstrated that.
Well, with Sentinel Foundation, we're one of the top level anti-child trafficking organizations in the world, and we're all special operations veterans, and a lot of us are from North Carolina or live in North Carolina out of Fort Bragg. My wife is 6 generations from Silva, and her dad's from 6 generations in Cornelius, so this was personal to all of us. And when we saw the shameful reaction, or lack thereof reaction that happened here, we felt compelled to act, and we just came in day one and started boots on the ground doing whatever we needed to do. While I'm at home, I'm thinking about coming back and what I need to do next. What do we need to do to get ahead of the winter that's coming? Because unfortunately, with the situation that it is right now, that first big snow, when it hits, the power lines are going to go down again. It's the grid is so fragile right now, and the ground is so saturated, and with all the downed trees, there's so much soil on the top that we're going to have more mudslides. All that's going to happen. Power's going to go out. The people in tents right now, the elderly, the people with kids, the disabled, the sick, like they're in a very precarious situation.
And then as they find like items, you know, instead of putting, they used to put like a whole bunch of stuff in there to go out to a community.
Okay.
Now they're dividing it up so that when people want, you know, a sleep bag, they know where to find a sleep bag, you know, that kind
So
of
they're just organizing.
Yeah. You know, this is, I guess, more of the shopping, you know, shopping store type thing.
Do you want me to move pallets or anything? Do you need
No,
me to do
this is
anything?
good.
Okay.
Now it's just kind of walking around.
I could set up empties too. Whatever you need me to
Yeah.
do. Whatever you need me to do. So what do you want me to let them fill them?
No, you can walk around if you see something, like walk around like there's, we'll just say if there's blankets in that one.
Yeah.
And you know these are blankets, take all the blankets out and throw them in here. you
Gotcha.
know? And then you can, there's some stuff already out there. If you're walking around, you grab some and you go, oh, I've seen that. And then take it over there where you don't have to put it in this box and then put it over there.
So we're trying to keep everything together.
Correct,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Makes sense.
Yep. Owner of the helicopter, he's a Lions company, you know, owns a linesman company, and he's here down in recovery, and I just asked him if I could take it. He said, sure. For the military, with 30 years, about 20 and 8 as a pilot. And then since 2009, I had the benefit of being able to fly for Frank Richardson. He's the owner of the helicopter. So, you know, I think it'll be kind of same thing or different. You know, I guess it kind of hit home when one of the folks that had the cadaver dogs, and he said he only had a hit on a body before I left. And it was kind of made them more real. But, you know, I think mainly the people, how resilient they are.
In Burnsville, we flew over and landed at a campground that had been completely decimated overnight by Hurricane Helene. And it turns out that a survivor from the hill explained that he could hear screams of the people in the campground by Anna's house being shredded alive. Hundreds of screams. Instantly dead.
So we start to go that direction, and we soon realize the bridge is gone. And it was like in pieces, a big bridge in pieces. I was like, well, maybe we just take this dirt road down and see if we can find another bridge. And so we start going down this road, this dirt road, in this back of this holler in Burnsville, North Carolina. And the devastation is just, it's insane. All the roads are washed away. It's just chaos. And then on this dirt road, we see this lady, and she's crying, and this house is just in shambles. You can see the water line, like how far the water came up. The house, a car had been pushed into the house, and it was just in bad shape. So we pulled over to ask the woman what was going on, and she was Ukrainian, and she explained that her family was gone. And I was like, what do you mean, like, they're gone? Like, where are they? And she was like, they're gone. The storm took them.
What is sad to me is that, they escaped the Kherson in Ukraine, and they went through a very hard time to get here. And a lot of people helped them to get here. And I just sad I couldn't keep them safe here. Kind of like feel that probably my fault.
And so I said, so like, tell me more about your family being gone and what happened. And she says, like, drive around here and I'll show you where their house was. And she drove us back to where there was this like kind of retirement campground area where once there was like mobile homes and trailers and some campers, and everything was just gone. And we were just, it took our breath away. And we were like, where are all the houses? Like, where did everything go? It's just foundations, you know? And so she explained to us that right after the storm, like the Tuesday after the storm, that some FEMA guys showed up with men in camouflage. And the guys in camouflage walked around, and she went to tell them that her family was missing and gone, and they just ignored her. And she was like pleading with them, as she says, and they just didn't seem to care. And they walked around and they started spray painting some things. And then by nightfall, they left. I said, well, listen, like, we're on this mission right now to find this guy. I'm going to go try to find this guy. And then I'm going to come back to you and we'll start trying to find your family. The stench of death and contaminated water from acid batteries that were floating down the river, cars that were floating down these rivers, propane tanks and gas tanks, all this stuff. So I'm like, yeah, we're going to come back. And so I go back and I brief everybody at the airfield, and we end up getting several search and rescue teams. And they were able to recover several different bodies on the river. 2 bodies belonged to their family. And then the other 2 bodies, I'm not sure whose they were. But we also found several parts to other bodies in the wreckage. Our cadaver dogs were hitting on various numbers of debris fields that we were just combing through for hours and hours, only to find like a pair of jeans with just a chunk of flesh in it. And so, like, after talking to her, we just kind of felt best that, you know, let's not push it. And I was like, I'll ask her once if she wants to be on the documentary. She says, no, I'm not going to push it. And so she said no. And we kind of left it at that. And I understand why, because, you know, she'd had to tell the story so many different times, and she wasn't really sure like which angle people were going to want to tell her story. And her story is that she lost her family. She doesn't care about conspiracies. She doesn't care about, you know, who's helping and who's not helping. They're not concerned with what politician is doing what. I mean, like, their only concern is that their family is gone. And everybody else cared about everything else around that, but nobody actually seemed to have empathy for the family that was just gone.
You know, I do cry every day still, you know, I'm kind of like, I hate to disappoint you. You're not disappointed.
Just trying to stay positive. Every donation I get, I'm like, woo woo, you know, just stay positive and don't let this beat you down.
We can't do it without God. I can tell you right now, I couldn't do this without having the Lord in my heart and, you know, Jesus Christ guiding and directing me. I couldn't do this. A lot of us couldn't do it.
You want this country to work and be respected around the world, it takes people like that coming together.
Yeah.
There's a need around the community, and I'm going to continue doing it because I'm doing God's work. That's all I want to do.
Americans will come help you. They will be here. Americans will be there for you. People have come from all over, man. Like every state I can think of off the top of my head, somebody has come here from there, whether it's with the truckload of stuff they bought out of their own pocket or to help out for a few days.
You know, from here, I couldn't be more proud to call them my firefighters. We will forever be bonded together just through this experience. So I always hope the best for them in their future, and hope that anytime they're faced with a difficult situation or phase in their life, they look back at this and know that anything's possible with your brothers and your sisters by you and your community sticking around you, and just kind of what the epitome of love and community is.
That's the way you help give people some hope and peace, that, you know, there are good people still left in this world and they will help somebody, and they ain't got to be paid for it. You know, sometimes that you just do the right thing, man. America is supposed to be the land of the free and the home of the brave. And that means you're supposed to help your neighbors when they're down. So you don't leave them down. I wonder how my government can spend millions and billions of dollars on other countries. We will go bomb a country and then we'll rebuild it to pay for it. Does that make any sense? Mm-hmm. But then we got people up here, got no houses. They're living in tents. They're living in mini barns because somebody was nice enough to donate one or help build one. We should be helping our own people. We shouldn't leave them stranded. Does that make sense? I don't know how else to say it. You don't leave your fellow Americans and leave them in this kind of shape.
The people that you thought you could rely on, we can't rely on anymore. And I hope this is a great example of how communities can come together and help each other and support each other, and that there are people that will show up for you. There are people that swore an oath and that they meant it, and they still live by that oath today. So, and my team and myself being one of those people.
You'd be lonely out here, you know? People caring, people working for free, people doing something without having to earn $1 for it. Oh, can you imagine what this world would be like if people would just help each other without having to earn or have something in return, you know? So that's the greatest thing I see.
I don't think I'll ever be the same after this trip. And I'm already trying to plan a way to come back. And my hope from this documentary is that you guys watching this will find a way to help that community. Or maybe it just challenges you to look at your community differently. I don't know. Just pray for the people of Western North Carolina and keep your family close, man.
We love you, Lord Jesus. Be with these people. And just thank you, Lord. Thank you for their testimony. Thank you, Lord, for blessing me now. I pray, Father, that you would bless them over and over again. I pray that their needs will be met. In Jesus' name.
Just you wait, listen for the storm. Hear the difference in the wind. When dark clouds form and start.
It was an amazing story, wasn't it? I'm sure there's a lot of people that were never recovered, sadly. How long's that been now, guys? It'll be a year. I mean, it's probably coming up on a year, isn't it? Good to see all you guys. I should probably get started on tonight's show, but I really appreciate y'all hanging out. I wanted to, just come on and bring you what was going on so far today. Since last night kind of sucked, I know. But thank you all. You guys are the best. I appreciate all the awesome comments and stuff. Go get to work on the evening show, so God bless y'all. Have a good day. Thanks again. Love you guys. September, that may be right. August or September. I was thinking something like that. It's getting there. Well, have a good day, guys. I will see you tonight. 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll be on.